Unapologetically.
You're welcome to the Deweyi Drive. This is the only place where you will find stories of change makers. And on the Deweyi Drive, it is unapologetically Ugandan. We're using storytelling to bring to light the impact of storytellers and change makers, and the power of storytelling, what it can do for the community and for society. Now, as you may know, I recently had the honor of being an MC at the 100 Discon. That is a Rotary event. It was the governor's banquet. I think for someone who's not a Rotarian, how can I easily say it, on this prestigious event, an outgoing governor hands over, or that's when they give, they leave the office for the new governor. And that was Princess Anne Kutu. She was the outgoing governor, and her home club, the Rotary Club of Kampala Nalia, did give me the honor of, being the MC on such a prestigious event. And before I take you so further, I do want to give special thanks and appreciation to the organizing committee of the DISCOM that I worked with, Magical President Sylvia Jagwe Owachi, who is the ED and acting MD at EcoBank, Charter President Dr. Lacor, of course, of Redo Dental Clinic, and past President Sylvia Nancha. We worked with past President Francis Lubulwa, who is my OB from Taiba, Chairman Juko Dennis, AG Herbert Oluka, and of course PAG Flavia Sergo. This amazing team put together such a beautiful event. The theme was glam and glitz, and it was awesome. Now, the point we're talking about, the Discon and Rotary, is the big deal for today, because at that event, I was honored to meet this special man. He did make an appearance. Not just an appearance, he was the star of the night. The person I'm talking about is a world record-holding magician. He's a dedicated advocate for autism awareness, and someone whose performances go beyond entertainment to inspire real change. In a bit, you're going to be meeting this gentleman, but he is a man of lots of talent. But most importantly for me is the reason as to why he's doing this, the activism for autism and what he's doing. We'll ask him questions. Someone on my team today was asking me when they saw him walk on glass and lying on glass, is this a magic? Is this real? What are the secrets? We're going to ask all those questions. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Deweyi Drive right now, we are honored to meet the man who graced the Discon stage with, inspiring acts, but also not just with magic. He left the audience. I'm telling you, because of time, we were not able to go so far, and many people were angry. How could you? How could we not? So, first of all, understand why a crowd was left wanting, and then you're going to meet him. Meet the man of the day, whose story is going to blow you up.
You can hear the glass beneath my body and beneath my head. Radley, are you ready?
I am.
Good. Remember, the left foot just below my shoulder blades, right foot on my head. Do not try to make yourself lighter, brother. Here goes. Radley, look down! And ladies and gentlemen, absolutely nothing wrong. Please give a round of applause to Radley. Thank you so much, my brother. Fist bump. There we go. Give him a round of applause, folks. Before I go, very quick thing. Do not. Hi, I'm Russell Fox, Magician Insane. I'd love to have you here tonight, but you're on the other side of the world, and what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to have a very special guest on stage who I'll be introducing in a second. Fear is one of those emotions or psychological experiences that's not just created in people's minds due to a personal experience, but in actual fact, more so by the experience and influence of someone else. In actual fact.
Wow! Now you understand when I told you today's guest is not your ordinary, your average person. You have seen. How did you feel watching that? The man was lying on glass and... Hi, Russell!
Hey, Jackie.
Oh my goodness, you don't know how excited I feel to have you on the show today.
I don't think you're anywhere near as excited I am. Thank you so much for making all this effort to have me online from South Africa with you guys in Uganda. This is exciting. It's awesome.
Amazing. Russell, there's so much. I was just telling the audience about how we met at the Rotary Discon, and because of time, many people are left unhappy with me. How come we were still enjoying the magician? And my goodness, I just want to thank you so much for being so understanding. I don't know how somebody else would have taken this.
Yeah, I don't know, eh? It's just, I started off as a magician going on 28 years ago. And then over the years realized that because I come from and grew up in the church, there's this there's this constant misunderstanding with what I do being supernatural, evil, and it's not. So I sat down with my team and my pastor, and they just said, just move away from the word magician. You moved into mentalism, psychological illusion anyway. And that's what we've been doing. The South African media actually dubbed me Magician Insane because of the stunts, the endurance stunts that I do, like the Glass Walker Challenge, the Blind Drive, and so on. So, yeah.
Wow. This is amazing. What you're seeing on the screen for the audience, that is Russell and his pastor. Your pastor looks like really cool.
He's a super cool guy. Very, very cool. But man, he's direct. He's to the point, and he takes no nonsense. And that's what it's about, man. He's biblically driven, and that's what lifestyle coaching is about. And he's walked one hangover road with me. I go back 10 years, and this guy hated himself.
Oh.
And this guy loathed himself because he was believed he was going to be a special needs boy for the rest of his life, and got it to wake the love up for self inside me and make me realize that I could still achieve everything I wanted to in spite of. And Sean was the guy that God used to equip me and raise me up, and so on and so on. And now I do the same. That's part of the mission for me, is to go out and give people an understanding that no matter your past or present circumstances, whatever your challenges are, you have value, worth, and potential, and what that looks like and how it works and how you unpack it in your life.
Amazing. Okay, now let's introduce you to the audience. I think they're like, what? Who is this? What's going on? Okay, so let's start by introducing yourself to the audience. Who is live on the screen right now? Like you said, first of all, I want to thank you for helping us understand that, when people hear the word magic, they are thinking of voodooism and all those crazy things. Yes. And now we understand this is a Christian man, and he's just using this different stance to help us understand. We're very powerful, as we're going to understand in the show. I have met him personally, and I think I might understand certain things, but I can't wait for him to share with you. And one of the reasons why I really, really wanted to interview you is your story. Like you said, being a person that was told you'd be a special needs child. But before we get there, first tell the audience who you are. What is your story?
Well, in South Africa, I am known as Russell Fox, Magician Insane. We're rebranding at the moment because I'm in ministry. So my life is kingdom, my life is God. And I have access to a stage that allows me to inspire and equip people. So I use mentalism or psychological illusion. So I'm psychological illusionist, which means I've studied the human mind psychologically, the human perception, and I'm able to influence what people see, understand, and experience as a mentalist, to experience illusions in ways they would never have dreamt of or imagined. And through this, I learned about my own mind, my own perception of self. In other words, how I look at myself and what this does to me. So just an example, for somebody that hated himself, I was the guy that was my only and own worst enemy. I was the guy that sabotaged my life and world. Nobody did more harm to me than I did to myself. And I was the guy that was destructive on me and my world. And I now equip people to understand that when you understand what your value, worth, and potential is, what that looks like, and start walking in that in your life, you start achieving the most incredible things, because suddenly you don't have others believing in you and your dreams anymore. You believe in them yourself, and then you're surrounding yourself with those people who still believe in you and your dreams, that will always remind you of, firstly, who God says you are, secondly, whose you are, and thirdly, what he has called you to and what you can do. Even though I have epilepsy, dyslexia, ADHD, mild trauma, Tourette's, I'm on this autism spectrum, was declared ineducable, told I'd never read, never write, never work, never drive. Today I'm sitting here as the top mentalist in SA, globally recognized, an international celebrity artist, and I love what I do. And I'm out there for God, just inspiring and equipping people in him.
Wow. I just want to if you can hold it there, I just want to let the audience know that you are not just talking about these things. As we speak right now, ladies and gentlemen, Russell just won the international award for the top South African events, entertainment, and speaker in the world. Yes, at the South Africa Prestige Awards. Now that is huge. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. By the way, the company, the Prestige Awards, is actually a UK-based company that awards SME business enterprises globally. The award that I won is given to a single artist once a year, and I don't even know how I was nominated, but somebody nominated me. I just put it down to God, and I didn't. When they contacted me, I kind of thought nothing on it, because I was on my way to the Philippines for a month on tour, and then when I got back from the Philippines, they announced that I had won this, and just insane, just really incredible.
Yeah,
really incredible.
This is very powerful. And like you said, you're going away from the word magic, which is what the world has mainly known you as, because like you said, the stance you do. First of all, what inspired you to go into that line of work? Now that you don't want us to call it magic, what should I call it?
Well, it's just another performing arts. It's illusion, sleight of hand, influence of perception. Everything, it kind of moves around. And the problem with the word magician is there are so many. I mean, I know guys that have been trying to convince the world that what they're doing is real, and it's not. We create psychological illusions. I'm known as an illusionist. That's what I am. I'm an illusionist. You've seen these guys doing these very big illusions where they appear to be cutting people in half, and so on and so on. We know that those are tricks. Right? The problem is when we start teetering on the border or stepping on the border of trying to convince people that what we're doing is real. It's not. It's tricks. It's illusions that just use a number of things like psychology, sleight of hand, misdirection, and unfortunately, because of adopting the term magician or magic, it's you go biblical. The Magi was the guy that met Jesus at his birth and took him the myrrh, frankincense, and gold. He was, for all intents and purposes, a magician. So the word magician stands for wise man, a man who has different wisdom to the rest of the world. That's all it is. But there's such a negative connotation around it that we just decided, there are plenty of churches that invite me to come and speak and share my testimony and what God's done for me. And then there are those that look at it and go, this is evil. And then they don't invite me. And we just decided, well, we don't want people to miss out on what God has for them because of their misunderstanding.
Yeah, because of just the word magic. The word magic just changes everything.
Right, yeah. But it's a big word, and unfortunately it's associated to often very bad things.
Yeah.
So you go biblical, and the word talks about manipulation as witchcraft. So manipulation is convincing people of something that is not. So a magician that goes out and says, what I do is real, that's manipulation. That's witchcraft. What I do is illusion. So that's where we've moved to. I'm a psychological illusionist or mentalist, and that's it. And it's just opened so many doors because there's now no confusion.
Amazing.
People know that what I do is illusion. Yeah.
And now, I was talking about illusion. Let's just show the audience when you walked on glass the day you broke the world record, so we can understand if this is not magic. What is this? No. Okay, so just in a second, you're going to watch this act of Russell entering the world, the Guinness Book of Records. Oh my goodness, watch that video and see it. Okay, just tell us what was happening at that time as we get the video on the day you were walking on glass.
So that was my first endurance stunt. So when I talk about endurance, is what I had to endure was physical, mental, and emotional. So physically, the pain that I went through, I didn't cut myself. Walking on very, very hard, pointy stones. And I did that for 29 hours. So barefoot on that for 29 hours, back and forth for 36.8 kilometers. So my feet were seriously in pain, discomfort. I experienced absolute exhaustion, fatigue. So, 24 hours of sleep is tough. When you're heading on to, I remember the first 9 hours. By the time I got to the 9th hour, I was about to give up. And that's where my team came around me and started encouraging me because they believe in me.
Oh.
And I had Chris Hunsinger, who is the Minister of Transportation in South Africa. He never left my side. This man was at my side, encouraging me. And that just goes to show who surrounds you is so important. But I walked on this glass back and forth for 29 hours, 36.8 kilometers. The hardest thing for me wasn't the physical, mental, and emotional endurance during the stunt. It was after the stunt, when I was back at home and I'd achieved this. I had these moments where I recalled, because I would have to step off this bed of glass onto the platform, the stage that I was doing it on. And then I would physically have to turn around. So I would go from discomfort, discomfort in terms of walking on the glass, stepping off glass, into comfort, because now I'm not on the glass anymore, turn around, and step back onto it again for another 20 meters. And I had to do that back and forth for the 29 hours. And that's what I struggled with. The thing I struggled with was, why would you do this to yourself?
Exactly.
Why would you go from comfort into discomfort over and over again? And the reason was purpose. The purpose behind the stunt. The purpose wasn't about Russell.
Okay, just hold on.
Was about.
Hold on. We're going into your purpose, Russell, because for me it's the most powerful thing. Just to remind the viewer that as you see that walk on the screen, Russell walked on a 20-meter bed of broken glass for 36.8 kilometers in 29 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now, as we speak, the man you're seeing on the show today is globally recognized as the top mentalist, perceptionist, psychological illusionist, and we'll stay away from the word magician, but an endurance artist in South Africa. Now, the big reason is, I'm sure everybody would be wondering, why would anyone hurt themselves like this? Why are you doing what you do?
Well, the stunt wasn't for me. It wasn't for me at all. It was to replicate the sensory overload that people with autism go through every day of their life. So this is a psychological battle that people with autism go through, and they never get to step off that bed of broken glass ever. And I wanted to replicate what that was like so that public could understand, so that public could empathize, so that people who are living with autism or have children or family members with autism could then go, okay, I understand. Now I understand what that sensory overload must be like.
Wow.
Because it's excruciating. I have serious sensory issues as well, that that I've been equipped with, and tools to use that help me with, and now I equip others with the same tools. That's why I'm a lifestyle coach. So when I'm not on stage and I'm in studio at home, I do live online coaching, and equipping people to become So life doesn't get better; we get better. In terms of how we handle the storms of life.
Wow.
So, other than an entertainer, an artist, a speaker, a philanthropist, and so on, I equip people so that they can have the life that they deserve. Because we all deserve an incredible life.
Yeah,
the
we
problem
do.
is we need to believe it. Yeah.
Amazing. I do have friends that have autistic children. So I'm hoping that if anything, this show does help a family member or anybody that's a caretaker of somebody that is living
Yeah.
with autism. And you did mention a
Yeah.
couple of other neuro issues that you'd have to deal with. You said
Yes.
autism. What else have you had to deal with?
So ADHD, which is on the spectrum as well, epilepsy, dyslexia. So I can read and write, but my mind does not process information from reading like other people. So I've had to find other ways to teach myself. Mild form of Tourette's, so I get Tourette's tics. And then, yes, I was declared ineducable, told I'd never be able to read, never be able to work or drive. And I do it all. I absolutely do it all.
Now,
Yeah.
for a person that has a profile as big as yours, when somebody hears you have all these issues, yes, on the spectrum, but something close to it, maybe somebody has just one, or their child has just been diagnosed that your child is on the spectrum of autism, and they have already given up on life. They want to commit suicide. They feel like, what am I going to do with my child? How are you able to put yourself together to even become a mentalist? I mean, to concentrate with all this.
So just a bit of context in terms of parents. I remember growing up with my mom crying herself to sleep most nights, not knowing what her son or sons were going to be able to achieve. And I'm going to go biblical on this very quickly. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's going to be able to do what I do, or everybody's going to be able to go do something physical, but we all have value with potential. It doesn't matter the severity of your neurodiversity. It does not matter. Focus on what someone can do rather than what they can't do. Investigate what they can do and not what they can't do, because we tend to focus on the can't rather than what can be done. So, there's a scripture where God goes, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper and not harm, to give you a hope and a future." That goes for everybody. Nobody on planet Earth is exempted from that scripture. Everyone. So if we're focusing on what we can't do, then we're not allowing God to do what he can do.
Wow. Let's talk about your mom there. Now that you mentioned your mom, I'm sure that she's had a lot to do with your success and what you have turned out to do. You did mention that you and your brother both had neuro issues.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So my brother was born with epilepsy. Later on, also found out that he has Tourette's as well. And funny enough, both of my brother and I ended up working in the neurodiversity industry. My brother is a qualified nurse and now a special needs caregiver. So he takes care of the elderly that have special needs, because we both have this immense love for people with these battles, and we both have overcome them. Sure, we deal with ourselves every day, but that's the point, is we deal with ourselves every day. We don't run away from ourselves. And we're both working in an industry that we're passionate about. My mother, what a woman, man, what a woman. My mom was in her late 60s when she started studying. She woke up one morning and God said, it's time to go back and study. My mom had to give her studies up for me and my brother, so she let go of a lot. My father, also neurodiverse, serious neurodiverse, only discovered this in the last year of his life. But my mum was, man, it's one strong woman. She went back and studied late 60s. She went to go study accounting law, got a degree in honors in that, in her kind of like early to mid 70s. And then from there went and decided she's going to go study financial accounting, which she did. And she finished that at the age of 80. So, yeah, I don't care who you are.
You can make it.
I
And
can, my
you'll
brother
see,
can,
that's
my
Russell.
brother
Russell,
can.
we have a picture of your mom on the screen getting
Yeah.
her, her degree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She had
this
a
this
degree.
this is really such an inspiration. When she had you and your brother and she knew you needed extra care, she stopped everything. And
Yeah.
then later on she went back so that she could support other people that needed the same support.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is amazing.
And yeah, my mum's in ministry as well. She gets invited to speak to, she's invited. She's got her ministries very much involved with women, so she speaks into women's lives. She shares her testimony,
Yeah.
her story, and yeah, she's an incredible lady, really a powerhouse of a woman. That woman did not. So I remember when I went to a school called Vista Nova, my mum and dad went for an interview. And they had the school psychologist. They did a ton of tests on me, including an EEG test and other neurodiverse tests. And they declared me ineducable. And this principal and psychologist told my mom, sorry, ma'am, it's impossible for us to teach your kid. Rather take him home and try to teach him yourself. And my mom stood up and said, not in your life. You'll
Wow.
take my son. You will do what you can, and I will do what I can from home. But you're not turning us away. And
Wow.
that was it. And I was in the school. Yeah, I think there was more trauma done in the school than anything else. But, the fact is, they tried. They didn't know much about the neurodiversities back then, hey? It was a struggle back then.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, my mum stood her ground. That's the woman she is. She
Wow.
didn't take no for an
I see now, I understand why your autism advocacy, I see now that it comes close to your heart. It's something that is very close to your heart. Not comes close, but it is close to your heart. What are some of the biggest misconceptions about autism that you aim to address through your work? Russell? Okay, let's try to get him back on the call. And we were asking powerful question because we just understood, as moms, you need to speak up for your children, as moms and dads, because taking your child to a special needs place just because other teachers think they're not competent does not make them that. Welcome back, Russell. Hello. Why are we having a technology? These technology issues do happen, but yeah, we're doing our best to make sure that he does come back. But what have you so far learned? Are you a parent? Are you a caretaker of an autistic person or a child that has special needs? Here is a world record holder who has all these neuro, issues that he's mentioned, and his brother, who equally was diagnosed with his own, he is doing the work of the Lord, caretaking for other people. So what does that say? Maybe we just lack information, and sometimes maybe even as a medical person watching the show, maybe we should go away from just scaring families and children and, scaring all these people. But as we wait to get Russell back, he did perform at the Chinese New Year, and here's what his act did look like. He is traveling around the world doing the work, the Lord's work, like he said, doing this ministry. And imagine on the day of this act, the whole of China was watching. Let's take you to look at that video of Russell in China performing at the Chinese New Year, so that you can see how powerful every child is. When the doctors say your child is special, they cannot read, they cannot write. Why? And do you just say yes? The doctor said, oh, my child cannot do this, so yes, my child will not be able to do this and that. We're trying to get the video for you to see that work of Russell in China.
So much so
And
that
imagine
here
this
of
is a
glass
child that is doing
induced in
all
each
the
and every one
work
of you
that
when you were
people
just
that are supposed to
a
be
little
called
child.
100% fit are not able to do. Yes, this is awesome. This is amazing. Okay, I'm trying to get it. Okay, trying to get that video for you. In the meantime, you can watch that act. Enjoy it.
And would you pick up a piece of that and make sure that it is what it is?
Broken glass.
Broken glass. You can drop that in there. Be careful that you don't cut yourself. Fantastic. Bradley, I'm going to be passing you these items. I'll tell you what to do with them in a second. Hang on to that.
Okay.
Good. So Bradley, you can pass me the bottle. And in a second, I'm going to ask you to break that. Bradley, are you left or right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed, so you're going to hold the bottle in your right. Good. I'm going to ask you to come kneel down in front, grab the bottle by the head, and smack right on the back of the bottle. You'll feel where that is. The bottle will break.
Okay.
And you can continue breaking that all the way up. Perfect. Good. I'm going to ask you to empty that onto the bed if you could, please. Carefully, do not cut yourself, please. You can just open that up. It will empty out as you, there we go. Good, Bradley. So, quick question. Could you please remove your shoes? I'm going to ask you to stand to the side. You can take your shoes off and leave them over that side. Don't look so concerned. I'm not going to be asking you to walk over the glass just yet. No, I won't be asking you to do that at all. But Bradley, I'm going to be asking you to do something in a bit that is a bit bizarre and going to be extremely bizarre in your mind. You can actually take off your mask. Fantastic. We are safe over here. Could you remove your socks as well, please? Could be a bit smelly. Are those freshly washed? Because in a bit it's going to leave a lingering fragrance behind me. You'll understand why. Great, Bradley. Do you want to step up to the glass? That is what it is. You've broken that. You're happy with that. Quick question. Would you walk across this?
No ways.
Not on your life. Okay, great. You can sit back there or stand back there again. Thank you very, very much.
You know, when he was there saying, would you walk across this? I was here saying, no, I wouldn't. No. 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 Russell, welcome back. Oh my goodness, somebody here on my production crew was asking that, how do you say this is not magic? What exactly is this?
Okay, so we have a very skewed perception of glass. I'm going to give you a very simple example. So Jackie, you've cut vegetables with knives.
Yes.
Knives plenty of times, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is a knife sharp?
Yes.
And how many times have you cut yourself with a knife?
So many
Hundreds
times.
of times.
By accident,
Right?
yes.
Hundreds of times. By
Yes.
accident, right?
Yeah.
Do you fear a knife?
No.
No. Because you understand it. You understand its potential.
Yes.
The fear that we have of glass is created not by necessarily an experience, but from someone else's reaction. So glass has no more potential to cut you than a knife does, but we have this unbelievable fear of glass because we have a misunderstanding around it. Now, folks, I don't want you to go walk on glass at home. That's not what I'm saying. It still has the potential to cut you. You just need to understand it. And that's all this is. That's all it is. It's just understanding its potential. I don't do radically stupid things. I know what I'm doing. I'm in control. I'm managing it correctly. And that's where I play on people's fears, to give them an understanding. So when I'm doing glass walking as a team build, I'm helping people understand how fears are created in your mind. How do you face it? How do you tackle it? How do you overcome it? Because that's how we move forward.
Let me ask you something, Russell. How do you prepare mentally and physically for such an intense performance?
I don't even know how to answer or explain that. I remember the first time I stepped on a bed of broken glass, or I walked over a fiery coals. It's definitely immensely scary, immensely. But once you've taken your first step, and in actual fact, Jackie, what I'm going to do is next time in Uganda,
Yeah.
I'm going to come. I'm going to come and do this with you on the show.
Oh,
so that you
yes.
can experience it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can experience it yourself, so that you can understand it, and then you'll be able to translate that to your viewers.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay.
At first I said no, but now I think yes. After you explained that it's possible, maybe yes. Maybe I would want to try it. Huh?
Do you remember when I was doing my show for the Rotary Club, and I said to everybody, people look at what I do as impossible.
Yes.
Only because they don't know how to do it.
Yes, you did say that.
Right, and if it was impossible, how is it that I can do it?
Wow. You're
That's
making the
skewed
impossible
perception.
possible.
That's skewed perception. So, yeah, absolutely.
Has anyone, this is a WhatsApp message, by the way, it's coming in from my creative director, Enoch Nsobuga. He's saying, how do you respond to skeptics who question whether your act is real or not?
By being truthful. So even in my show at the Rotary Club, I said, if anybody's disturbed or bothered by what I do, come and have a conversation with me and I'll show you how it works.
Wow.
I don't hide what I do. So I might be a mentalist. I might use psychology and perception and influence and all sorts of things. But my goal is not to confuse or scare you. My goal is to give you understanding. And I say this at the beginning of my show, is all I'm doing is influencing. So, Jackie, you're an influencer, correct?
Yeah.
On television, every time you're on a show or on radio or wherever, you're influencing what people think. That's all you're doing.
Yes.
Agreed. That's all I do, is I influence what people see, understand, and experience. That's all I do.
Wow.
I'm an influencer. I'm just an influencer.
You are a different kind of influencer. I love this kind of influencing. I didn't know about it, by the way. I'm also being taken to school today.
Beg your pardon?
I'm also being taken to school today. I didn't know this part of influencing, and I love it.
Well, the thing is, you as an influencer also know we can influence people one of two ways, positively or negatively.
Oh, yes.
I want to influence people positively. I want people to understand that they can achieve anything they want to,
You can actually
as long as they're willing to. They understand they can. They surround themselves with people who believe in them and their dreams more than they do, and they work with people to achieve. So if I want to become a soccer player, I need a soccer coach.
That's true.
If I want to get better at life, I need a life coach.
Yes.
If I want to be a mentalist, I need a mentalist. I need the top.
Oh, yes.
That's how it works.
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
We get it. I was asking before technology was happening on us, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about autism that you aim to address through your work?
Sorry, repeat the question for me. What are some of the
Some of the misconceptions that people have about autism that you aim to address through your work?
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a great question. Firstly, the belief that their child is never going to be able to do anything.
That's the most popular one.
Right. Secondly, they're alone. You're not alone. The funny thing is, you're not alone. Not even Uganda, you're not alone. Thirdly, I live with this. I know people that live with this. We spoke about the podcast that I'm starting on YouTube called I'm Neurospicy, where we'll be having conversations with people like yourself and other people with neurodiversities that have achieved incredible things so that people can understand it will stop you if you believe it will stop you. And even parents going, what am I going to do? Reach out. There are people that are going through and have been through what you've been through and know how to get where you want to get. That's the bottom line. Thirdly, this is not a curse. It's not. Autism, neurodiversity, special needs, no child, no family's been cursed. Unfortunately, it's in the genes. It's the bloodline. That's all it is.
Oh.
And it's not your fault. This is not a blame game. It's not your fault.
I do know a friend that still believes that her child being diagnosed with autism could have been because she left the child with a nanny, and the nanny could have been negligent, and probably they let the child fall, causing this situation. So we're learning today that this is in the genes. It's not anybody's fault.
It's not anybody's fault. You can't cause autism by somebody falling over. It's something that is in the brain that was there from birth. That's it.
Wow. This is, I think my key takeaway, like I said, I do have friends, and these days it's impossible not to know anybody who is struggling with autism or is taking care of a child or a family that has autism. Actually, the prevalence rate here in Uganda, according to what I'm seeing online, is they are saying 88 per 10,000 people. I don't know how true this is. And they are saying 70 out of 10,000 persons in Uganda has autism.
Yes. Yeah.
70 out of 10,000. I don't know how true this is, but this is what I've gotten online. So that means this is a serious issue. And what the big issue here is misconception. We not knowing that it's in the genes.
It's in the genes. It's in your genes. So my father had neurodiversity.
You can hear the glass.
There were people in his family that had neurodiversities. And it just gets passed down from generation to generation. Unfortunately, that's just the sad reality. But so do many, many, many other things. You'll grow up in a household where father is an alcoholic, and then one of the kids or two of the kids become alcoholics. Or you'll have a father or mother that ends up on drugs, and then it gets passed down. Bad mouth, like verbal abuse. It's just, it's one of those things. It gets passed down from generation to generation. It's not a curse.
Wow.
It's unfortunately just one of those things, but it doesn't mean it has to stop your life and world.
I'm happy that you are in ministry and a Christian. Like myself, I do know friends and lots of people that keep praying and fasting that autism would leave their child or their sibling, and they keep praying. But I think right now what we should be praying for is for the wisdom like this, to know that it's here, but then what next for the child? Like, I feel like you are the best ambassador. You have proven that a child can be anything. You being told you could not read and write has not stopped you from being a global influencer.
Absolutely. I think what we do is we tend to think that God's going to get rid of something.
Yes.
It's not the case. It's not the case. If he decides it's something he wants you to carry, I mean, we go right back to the beginning. Jesus said, pick up your cross and give up everything, pick up your cross and follow me. Your cross is the thing that he wants you to carry. And there's a reason he wants you to carry it. It's because he can equip you, but you have to accept it. Then he can help you achieve the most incredible things in spite of that, because of him. We live in a broken world, folks.
Yes.
That's the fall of sin. We live in a broken world.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop praying things away and actually start praying that God help us, equip us, raise us up, exalt us, position us for his kingdom. That's what we need to pray for. I remember people trying to pray away COVID. Folks, not going to happen. What's going to happen is every knee will bow, every tongue confess. That's the end game. God is here to fix those that choose him. He says, I will turn all things to the good of those who love me. That's what he's done with me.
Bradley, are you ready?
And that's what he'll do with you. But just praying it away. We need to pray for strength. We need to pray for wisdom, direction, understanding, guidance, equipping.
Wow.
Because he's not. So healing is both physical, mental, and emotional. He equipped me mentally and emotionally to carry my burden.
Yes.
That's healing in itself.
It is
healing in itself.
Yes.
I've accepted this. I walk with it. And by the way, I was healed of epilepsy when I was 18 because I believe it was the thing that would have stinted the ministry. It was the thing that would have stopped me from achieving what God wanted for me. So he decided he'll take that away. But the rest, I carry. I have my bad days, but most of my days are great. And
wow.
It's just giving myself permission to go, okay, it's a rubbish day today. I'm having a terrible ADHD day, and I just remove myself, go chill out, and I even take the day off from work and just go be who I need to be for myself and love me.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. I do not know, but I hope that as many people that need to hear this get to watch it. I will do my best, but I pray. I know that this is ministry as well. Starting this show to tell stories of change makers and hear how powerful this is, and this is turning out to be like ministry, like they're getting the word, because that's the first thing when you told your child is special needs. Of course, you're running to God, but like you said, we're praying the problem away instead of praying for wisdom to equip. And what the viewer is watching right now is your performance in China. It was a show that you did for the 2020 Chinese New Year celebration that was watched nationally throughout China. And I hope that as someone that has an autistic or a special child, you know that the power is with you to equip this child to be great and to do great things in life.
Absolutely. You know, we need to get before God and go, God, you know, your plans for my child. Help me understand what I need to be for my child. What can I do? What do I need to do from my side so that I'm not sabotaging the plans you have for my child, Lord?
Wow. And also, Russell, watching your acts, they look, especially when you're walking on the glass, have you been injured, like, as you travel the world and do these acts that look dangerous? Have you ever been injured?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, really hurt and you had to take a break?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've had shots. I mean, I jump on the glass. So, but I know the risk, and I'm willing to take it to change other people's lives and worlds. So I'm willing to take the risk. This is what I'm saying, folks. Don't go home and go walk on glass. You have no understanding of it yet. I know the risks. I know the potential. I know what could go wrong. And I'm willing to take the risk so that I can inspire others.
The funny thing is,
I know what I need to do. I've had a shard of glass go right into my heel. I've had to have it medically removed, stitches.
Oh.
And for me, that's, my 30 years of my career, it's happened once.
That you have done this for 30 years?
Going on 30 years, yeah.
Russell, but you look 30 again.
I'm a very young 51.
What? No!
I'm a very young 51, yeah.
Okay, so you have definitely been practicing what you preach, you're staying fit and staying in shape.
Absolutely. So part of my lifestyle is, and managing my lifestyle from a neurodiverse perspective, is what I eat, what I put into my body.
Mm-hmm.
And what I put into my body in terms of food and things that I drink it's not just for now, it's for my future. It's about what I want in my future, what the person I want to be when I'm 85, 90. What I do now is determined by what I want then. So everything is planned. Nothing I do is without reason or without purpose. So a lot of people go, but you only live once. Let me eat what I want. Let me drink. Let me do this. No, it's going to destroy you over time. I choose what I want now for my future.
Wow. Just take me back to, what was the moment you realized that this illusion, this work of illusion that you're doing, because you said you're an illusionist now, that's the better word.
Yes.
That it could be just more than entertainment, but it could inspire change. What was the moment for you?
Wow. I remember I was 24 or 25, getting ready to fly over to the United States to work on a performing arts summer camp for 3 months. And I was up in an area in South Africa called Johannesburg, and I was busking. So I used to be a busker many years ago, which means I performed for tips. And there was a restaurant, a pizza restaurant, Pizzeria. And I got permission from these guys in Johannesburg to walk around the restaurant, do tricks for tips. And I had this encounter that blew me out of the water. I walked up to a table, and it was a mum with her 2 kids, and I did a couple of tricks. And this woman stood up, she just went wild. She wanted to drive demons out of me and all sorts of things. And I went, have fun, lady. Pray for me, do your thing. Once she'd finished, I put my hand on her shoulder and I said, ma'am, I love Jesus as much as you do. And what I do is illusion.
Wow.
And I walked away from that going, Lord, what the flip was that? And he said to me, that's your belief in self. That's your self-perception. As a man believes in his heart, that's the core, that's your depths, so are you. So all she did was she responded to according to her belief. And then from there I realized it's my responsibility to help you understand that what I'm doing is not real and it's illusion.
It's not,
And that there is,
It's
and
not
then
black
from there,
matter.
I started studying or delving into the human perception. I then found mentalism and discovered how to start equipping myself, how to change my own thoughts about myself and my own mind about myself and how that works. And then realized, I was sitting down with my previous manager, Gabriella, from a company called Afro Sapien Entertainment. They were a South African label I was signed to. And she asked about my story because she knew she knows what I did. I explained to her my past, my upbringing. She said to me, Russ, you need to be a motivational speaker. And I said to her, if I cannot inspire people, I'm not interested. And that became my goal, was to be able to communicate to inspire rather than communicate to motivate.
Wow.
And when I started speaking and people came up to me asking for a book, I realized, now I can really start adding value to people's lives. And then I met Sean, my pastor. He started walking a road, started coaching me to coach. And I love it that I can get on stage, have fun, do a show, and leave people inspired rather than just entertained. Wow. And that's what I do globally. So that's my why. That's my why. That's what I do.
Is really powerful. And you talking about how your pastors influence your life is good. It's so that I do hope that even the viewer today learns that, whichever day they'll be watching this show, understands the power of mentorship. You having a mentor, and especially if it's a spiritual mentor, it's even better. Because like you said, instead of you going to a pastor to lie to you that they're praying away who you are, they're just being practical with you. Also, what I wanted to ask was, can you share, like, I know that as you go around the world, there are people who walk to you, like you said, that feel like you are doing this for me. Is there a particular moment that stood out for you from a crowd, or when somebody came to you after an act and they were probably being inspired by the work you do? That just one moment that you feel like this was it.
Your questions, holy wow. I was invited to speak on TED Talks here in South Africa. Mm-hmm. And I got on stage. My previous manager, Gabriella, was there. And I was performing and speaking and so on and so on. And I got off stage and I went up to Gabriella and I said, man, I feel like I was mumbling. I was talking. I was all over the show. There was no direction. I just felt like I didn't connect
with the audience.
Nothing hit home and so on. And she agreed. She just said, what were you doing up there? It was weird. And I sat down, and about 3 minutes later, a lady comes up to us crying, weeping. And she says to me, thank you for sharing. Thank you for inspiring me. My son has ADHD.
Oh.
And I've spent his entire childhood worrying about what he's going to be able to do. And you inspired me today, and I thank you. And that was the only person that came up to me in the entire show. And I realized then,
you were there for that person.
In my babbling, when I was on stage,
it was
the Holy Spirit was able to connect with somebody and inspire them through me, and that hit home for me. That it was just, Russ, get over yourself. It's not about you. It was awesome. Yeah.
Wow, that really means you were there for that person. That show was just for that one mother who did not know what to do for their child. And I do hope that what we do today is for a particular parent, for a mother, because mothers usually are the ones that feel the pain the most. I'm not saying the dads don't, but as moms, from the time you're nurturing this baby, this baby, after you've given birth and you realize all these issues, you're just thinking, how am I going to help this child? How will my child survive without me? What will I do?
Yeah.
Wow. What advice would you give to young change makers? They may not really have a deficiency or a sickness or a condition, but they just want to make a difference. And they're thinking, I don't have a story as powerful as Rasul's. what do I do? Where do I start?
Well, Jackie, if I can very quickly just touch on something you said now, and then I'll come back into those folks that don't necessarily have neurodiversities or special needs and what they can do. So the one thing that I've learned in my career over the last going on 30 years is that there are single dads and single moms sitting with special needs children.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that those single parents, both mum and dad, not just mum and dad that are single parents working alone, trying themselves, don't have the support, that they do get the support, that they find people that can come alongside them and walk this tough road with them, but also to understand that in prayer we can ask God to bring people across our path. And that's the nice thing, is we can go, Father, can you please bring people across my path that have the wisdom, have the experience, have the understanding, that will give me the wisdom and understanding to walk this road with my child. And that goes for all parents.
Wow.
To your question, again, we all have value, worth, and potential. And yes, I might be neurodiverse, I might be on the spectrum. There are many other things that challenge people, not just neurodiversities, not just special needs.
Mm-hmm.
And it all boils down to your thoughts. What do you think about yourself? What are your negative thoughts? What is your self? What's the word I'm looking for? What is your inner dialogue? What are the words you're saying to yourself that are holding you back? Because we are all our only and own worst enemy. I was the guy that destroyed myself, nobody else. I destroyed myself, and that goes the same for everybody. So whether you have an extra toe, or your nose is skew, or you don't like the color of your eyes, or you've got a bit of a tummy like I do, or you don't believe you're beautiful or pretty, and you talk of these things into your life, know that your words have power. And your words have power to either destroy or build you up. So the first thing you need to start doing is talking to you from a perspective of, I am enough.
Wow.
Because you are. You're 100%
Amen.
enough. And if the Father of heaven and earth could be present at your creation, take time out to be there and knit you together in the womb of your mother, man, you are more than enough, because he was there at your creation. So you're more than enough.
Amen.
You're more than enough to achieve exactly what he wants you to achieve. And then go out and find people that you can surround yourself with that will believe in those dreams. Get rid of the people that don't believe in your dreams. Get rid of them. Move away from them and move towards people that believe in you and your dreams until you believe in them yourself. Find mentors. Find people who will mentor you. First question is, what do you want? If you don't know what you want, go find what you want. Then once you know what you want, you then know, what do I need to do? And then once you know what you need to do to achieve what you want,
good. Remember,
then you go, what are the tools that I need? And then you find the tools and you apply it and become intentional about it. I mean, Jackie, you're a radio personality.
Yes.
You're on television.
Yeah.
You can't tell me you had the easiest upbringing.
No, I didn't. No, I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, you can't. And you've achieved this. So if you can achieve this, so can anybody else achieve what they want to in Uganda. It doesn't matter what their upbringing is or was.
Oh, wow. And maybe right now, you have spoken. This interview has gone even more above and beyond what I expected it to be. I feel so inspired myself. I feel like I am the audience instead. If you are talking, if you spoke about single moms, and I do know of in my media work of a former colleague whose partner abandoned them the moment they realized their child had it's not autism. What is it? The one that comes with the brain and the child is not able to have mobility. It's called
cerebral palsy.
That's what it is. Okay, so that's what happened, and the partner said, well, in my family we do not have children like those, and she has had to take care of this child since birth alone. So there's such I want you to talk to the men, because they're abandoning their partners. Usually they are the ones that walk away on the children. Can you say something to these people?
Men, the reality is we have a responsibility, and we need to pick up our responsibility and accept our responsibility. You know, when God created man, he created man with everything man needed to do to achieve the mandate, what God had given him. He then went and created woman for man, not the other way around. He said it's not good for man to be alone. So what does he do? He creates your partner, your helper. Now, not a helper in the terms of they do what you want them to do. They fulfill what you cannot do. Okay, so stop abandoning your woman just because you do not know what to do. Find other men that know what to do in that situation and will walk a road with you so that you can be the man that she deserves. This is not about you. When I marry, this is about my wife, serving my wife. It's not about me. And when I serve my wife, she will then submit because I serve and love her and she sees that. So we also have such a skewed understanding of what love is. Very, very much so.
Wow.
You know, good, yeah.
And
by the way, there's a cool scripture that where God says, a man's greatest treasure is his wife. Listen to this again. A man's greatest treasure is his wife. She's a gift from God. So unfortunately, when you're walking away from your greatest treasure and your gift from God. And I'm sorry, you're going to stand before God and he's going to ask you why. Why did you walk away from your greatest treasure? Something you should hold close, take care of.
Wow.
Why did you walk away?
Oh my goodness, this is amazing, Russell. When I met you, you kept talking about your team, and because I asked you how you're able to travel around the world and you're like overly booked and in high profile events, and you kept saying that, oh, I can't do this. I have a great team that I don't know how God gave me such people. And I brought it up so that maybe your team would know that even in their absence, you speak so highly about them. And you know, before I had you, I was talking to Albert, and it seemed like I knew who he was because you told me about him before I even got to meet him.
Yeah.
So
I tell you, when I listened to, so Albert had messaged the team to ask them for their photos, and I know that he sent Cherie and Jermaine's. And Albert's a very private person, and I'm happy with that. I don't try push my team to be who they are not. They are who they are. They all deal with neurodiversities, by the way. The whole bunch of us deal with neurodiversities. And, you know, the messages that were sent from my team where the guys are proud of me and they love me. I'm going to cry. Sorry. When I say that my team would jump off a cliff with me, they would. And it's not because of me. It's because they understand and they have the same heart that I do for people with neurodiversities and special needs, people that are struggling. They get it because they walk that road themselves, and they are the voice behind the scenes.
Yeah, I see Sherry. That's Sherry.
And they've partnered with the why. It's not Russell. They've partnered with the why. And they really, my guys are incredible. I love them ridiculously. They're incredible. They encourage me, motivate me. I mean, the Glass Walker Challenge that tells you I would never have done that without my team. So, by the way, just some context of how committed we are. 2 weeks before the Glass Walker Challenge, I was meant to be resting. Meant to be resting. I wasn't. I was on the phone with the rest of my team hunting down for sponsors. Then 12 hours before, I was physically breaking glass bottles in preparation. The night before I started and took my first step, I hadn't slept for 48 hours.
Wow. Whoa, that is a lot.
And neither did my team. We all went in exhausted and we all stood together to achieve it. And that's the team I have.
Wow. And that's Jermaine, your web developer.
Jermaine, web developer, Cherie, my brand and marketing manager, Albert, and then Gabriella from Afrosapien Entertainment. And my team, my immediate team are the guys that work with me every day, but I've got team members that are, come on board with specific events. Gabriella's on board with my next two public stunts, endurance stunts, and so on. We'll talk about that because we are sitting down and looking at possibly coming to do my third endurance stunt in Uganda. I'm not going to mention what it is. I think I may have mentioned it to you already, but it's not public knowledge
All
yet.
right. Okay, we'll keep it.
So please don't talk about it.
I'm not going to say nothing. My lips are shut.
What's that?
I'm not saying nothing. I'll keep my lips shut until you break the news.
Please do. Until it's set in stone. It's just thought and ideas and meetings and negotiations and hunting for sponsors. It's work, guys. So a lot of people think that entertainment is just simply getting on stage and performing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I traveled for flipping ever to get to Uganda to come do one show and come home, but it was worth it. It's incredible. I love what I do. I mean, this year, by the way, going on 30 years I've been doing this. This year, going to the Philippines was the first time I traveled internationally for me.
Oh, wow.
It was the first international.
The first time you gave yourself time.
The first time for me that was not work related, even though I ended up doing a bit of market
brother,
research
fist bump.
over
There we go.
Yeah.
You had gone for yourself to have a good time and take a break. Oh, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Because it sounds like you are doing so much, and it's good to know that once in a while you're able to remember yourself. Now, you have spoken so much. You spoke to the parents. You spoke to the mind of the child, to the Christian, because, you know, when we see magic, we see stunts, we panic. But, Russell, I want you to, maybe I haven't asked about it, but if there's one thing that you want to leave our audience with today, what is that thing?
Wow. You know what? If I can overcome everything I've overcome, and I can achieve everything that I have achieved, in spite of my past or present circumstances, my neurodiversities, my special needs, my learning disabilities, if I can achieve global recognition, an international artist, top mentalist, illusionist, globally innovating, and a celebrity, you can achieve everything you want. It just starts with you. You need to believe in you. It starts with you. And stop the excuses. Stop making your special needs, your disability, your upbringing, your background, your challenges. Stop using it as an excuse and start believing in yourself.
Wow. That was Russell Fox, South Africa's most inspiring mentalist, speaker, philanthropist, and all-round inspiring guy. I think I don't even have to tell you anymore. After listening to him, if you did not pick anything, then I don't know what I should do. I don't know. Then I don't know, because I feel like you have given us everything, and I thank you so much for being selfless, for telling your story in all honesty, because it's not easy to be honest and tell and even share the tricks, to saying there is no tricks, guys. There is no tricks. You know? Yeah.
You know what? I think authenticity, just being really authentic, firstly with yourself and then with others, it changes your life. It really does. So if I expect to overcome something, but I'm not willing to share what I'm overcoming or where I'm at, how am I meant to overcome it? It's just, yeah.
Wow. All right, thank you so much, Russell. Greetings to the family in South Africa, to your entire team. They were awesome. I've worked with them right here to get you here on the show, and you are blessed. And thank you for so blessing us with your presence today.
Jackie, I know this is not the last time you and I will be having conversations. No. We both know this. And thank you for having me. Thank you for your team. I heard them in the background and in between. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for wanting to, speak to those who need to hear this.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. This is Wednesday on the Deweyi Drive, and I don't know which day you get to watch this show. If you get to watch it today, thank you. But I'm hoping that you get to subscribe, to give me a like, to the number on the screen. If you have a story to share and you want to be hosted on the show, do let me know. drop me a WhatsApp message and I'll absolutely be glad to host you on the show. What we do here is bring stories of change makers. We're using storytelling to help bring their work to light and for you to be inspired, because all these stories are speaking to particular people. These are stories that you may not have every day, because you know Raso is not a musician, he's not a dancer, so you may not understand what he's doing. But for platforms like this, when they're available, parents and children that have this condition of autism, I hope this episode, if it does anything, it brings change, hope and joy to your house and family, to know you can do more for your child, for your family, and that this is not the end. And if you've been praying it away, and then you start changing the direction of prayer so that God will make your child somebody that will leave a mark, right? Special thanks to my producer Stuart of Clap Records. He is the man on the camera, and that's why you're able to have such a great clear sound and a great picture because of Clap Records. You can also have Clap Records do your live shows if you do have some. And if you are looking to call him, 0777 289 993. I'll say the number again for you, 0777 289 993. You can reach out to Stuart and his team at Clap Records. They will have you covered for whatever it is you need in production. Is it a song? Is it a video? Is it a live stream? They are the go-to. And reminding you that Paint For You is the place for all authentic paints. They are official partners of Rego Paints on this Boyogedede route. They have you covered. Call 0772 987 442 772 987 442 if you need to buy automotive paint, interior or exterior paints. They have it. Paste, marble, name it, they have you covered. And Mufapendo stays. If you're looking for a place to stay in Uganda, do go to Mufapendo. It's a shared home. But also if you're looking to set up an Airbnb, call 0773 35 6837 773 35 6837. Mufapendo can help hook you up, help manage your Airbnb, and most importantly, they can host you in their Airbnb space. And of course, for those that are building, I'm looking forward to hosting an architect, and she's good at costing. She did promise me next week. I hope that she does really find the time so that we can put an end to the debate of to build or to buy. But if you're building, if you've bought a home, you're looking to finish, the one-stop shop for all your finishing needs is the Building Experts Uganda. Call 0392 914 256 or 0754 515 855, and they have you covered. They have tiles, imported, homemade. They'll advise you according to your budget. They have something for everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Please do subscribe, do share this video, do like, do leave a comment, and tell me if this episode did inspire you, or if you yourself have a story and you want to be hosted. I look forward to doing exactly that. My name is Jackie Deweyi, and this is the Deweyi Drive, unapologetically Ugandan. But of course, we do bring all the different stories from across the world in Africa so we can copy the best practices. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll bring you Gloria, who is an activist for children, and she's speaking out against sexual violence against children. So, see you tomorrow on Thursday.
Hi, I'm Russell Fox, Magician Insane. I'd love to have you here tonight, but you're on the other side of the world, and what I'm going to be doing, and I have to have a very special guest on stage who I'll be introducing in a second. Fear is one of those emotions or psychological experiences that's not just created in people's minds due to a personal experience, but in actual fact, more so by the experience and influence of someone else. In actual fact, so much so that the fear of glass was induced in each and every one of you when you were just a little child. My guest, Radley, please give him a round of applause. Could you join me on stage, please? I'd like you to stand just behind the bucket, if you could, please. And while you're there, do you want to take that bottle out of the bucket and tell me what is inside the bucket, please?
Inside the bucket is broken glass.
Broken glass. Fantastic. Radley, you can pass me the bottle. And would you pick up a piece of that and make sure that it is what it is?
Broken glass.
Broken glass. You can drop that in there. Be careful that you don't cut yourself. Fantastic. Radley, I'm going to be passing you these items. I'll tell you what to do with them in a second. Hang on to that.
Okay.
Good. So Radley, you can pass me the bottle. And in a second, I'm going to ask you to break that. Radley, are you left or right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed, so you're going to hold the bottle in your right. Good. I'm going to ask you to come kneel down in front, grab the bottle by the head, and smack right on the back of the bottle. You'll feel where that is. The bottle will break.
Okay.
And you can continue breaking that all the way up. Perfect. Good. I'm going to ask you to empty that onto the bed if you could, please. Carefully. Do not cut yourself, please. You can just open that up. It will empty out as you... There we go. Good. Bradley. So, quick question. Could you please remove your shoes? I'm going to ask you to stand to the side. You can take your shoes off and leave them over that side. Don't look so concerned. I'm not going to be asking you to walk over the glass just yet. No, I won't be asking you to do that at all. But Bradley, I'm going to be asking you to do something in a bit that is a bit bizarre and going to be extremely bizarre in your mind. You can actually take off your mask. Fantastic. We are safe over here. Could you remove your socks as well, please? Could be a bit smelly. Are those freshly washed? Because in a bit it's going to leave a lingering fragrance behind me. You'll understand why. Great, Bradley. Do you want to step up to the glass? That is what it is. You've broken that. You're happy with that. Quick question. Would you walk across this?
No ways.
Not in your life. Okay, great. You can sit back there or stand back there again. Thank you very, very much. Bradley, I'm sensing a little bit of anxiety there for you because you know already where this is going, and so do you guys. The funny thing is, as I step onto this glass, you're going to experience this for me on my behalf. Watch your emotions. Oh, just kidding, just kidding. Did you feel that? They call it anxiety. You can hear the glass breaking below my feet. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely nothing wrong. Bradley, nothing wrong with my feet. Good. Second ago, Bradley, I also asked you if you'd walk on it. You said no.
No.
Woo. And ladies and gentlemen, still nothing wrong with my feet. How are you feeling, Bradley? You doing good?
Can't believe what I'm seeing.
Good. Could you join me over here, please? Good. Bradley, in a second, I'm going to ask you to do something that you're going to feel uncomfortable doing. It's going to put you in a state of anxiety, and you're not going to want to do this, but I want you to trust me. You've seen me walk over it. You've seen me jump on it. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
It's your turn. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to need somebody to come and assist me. I've called for my manager, Gabriella. Do you want to join me up here quickly, please? She's going to stand at the edge. Radley, in a second, I'm going to ask you to stand on my back and on my head while I lay on the broken glass. Could you step a little bit closer? Good. So there we go. So Bradley, I'm going to lie down. This is what you're going to do. Your left foot is going to be just below my shoulder blades over there. Yes? And your right foot on my face. Yes? Hi, I'm Russell Fox, Magician Insane.